The plastic grocery store cake box bumps against my hip as I fumble with my house key. Vanilla with buttercream frosting, decorated in soft pink swirls. Nothing fancy. Just a small reminder that today matters, even if no one else remembers. Inside, the familiar scent of pot roast fills the air. Mom always cooks pot roast on Tuesdays, birthday or not. The kitchen calendar hanging by the refrigerator still shows last month's page. My 30th birthday unmarked in its little square. Clara? Dad's voice carries from the dining room. That you? Yes, just getting home from work. I slide the cake box behind the fruit bowl, smoothing my cardigan. The same one I wore yesterday and the day before. The same one Dad said made me look like a librarian when I bought it. The dining room falls silent as I enter. Mom and Dad sit at opposite ends of the table, the overhead light casting shadows across their faces. Dad's fork scrapes against his plate with military precision. Mom's eyes stay fixed on her green beans, each one cut into identical pieces. You're late, Dad says, jabbing his fork toward the empty chair. Sorry, traffic was backed up on Lincoln. I sink into my seat, the wood creaking beneath me. A plate waits at my place, the pot roast already getting cold. I stop to pick up. Your mother and I need to talk to you. Dad sets down his fork. The tines align perfectly with the edge of his plate. My throat tightens. I reach for my water glass, buying time. What about? Mom's fork freezes halfway to her mouth. A green bean dangles, then falls. You're 30 now. Dad's voice carries the same tone he used when telling me my childhood dog needed to be put down. Time to stop freeloading. We want the house back to ourselves. The words hit like a physical blow. My fingers go numb around the water glass. Freeloading? Douglas, Mom whispers, but she doesn't look up, doesn't defend me. 6 years is long enough. Dad cuts another piece of meat, precise and careful. You moved back during that pandemic mess, and we understood then. But this arrangement has gone on too long. Arrangement. Like I'm a furniture rental they're tired of. Like I haven't spent 6 years keeping this household afloat. The memories flash rapid fire. My first pandemic paycheck split between their mortgage and groceries. The utilities I quietly transferred to my name when their credit card was maxed out. Car insurance payments, property taxes, home repairs all silently covered as my own savings dwindled. You're not doing anything special, Dad's voice echoes from countless past conversations. It's called being part of a family. Family. The word tastes bitter now. I see. My voice comes out steady, surprising me. The training of years stay calm. Don't react. Keep the peace holds firm even now. We're not trying to be harsh. Dad dabs his mouth with a napkin. But you need to stand on your own feet. Find your own place. Live your own life. Mom's silverware clinks against her plate, a sharp, discordant note. I push back from the table. The legs scrape against hardwood. Mom doesn't wince at the sound for once. When? End of the month should be plenty of time. Dad reaches for his sweet tea. That's more than generous. Generous. Like the $82,000 mortgage I've been paying. Like the 70% of household expenses that disappear from my account each month. Like the emergency fund I built while they drained their savings on golf club memberships and timeshare presentations. I understand. I stand, my chair forgotten behind me. The cake sits hidden in the kitchen, 30 candles still in my purse. What a fool I'd been, hoping this year would be different. Clara. Mom's voice finally rises, weak and wavering. We do love you. Love. Another word that's lost its meaning. I climb the stairs to my bedroom, each step measured and calm. The door closes softly behind melodramatics, no slam doors or tearful accusations. Inside, a half-packed suitcase already waits in my closet. Some part of me has known this day was coming, has been preparing for it through every dismissive comment, every financial drain, every moment my generosity was rewritten as obligation. I need to start packing. The suitcase's handle is cool under my fingers. 6 years of receipts and bank statements hide beneath winter sweaters, each one meticulously preserved. Each one telling the truth they've tried so hard to bury. Downstairs, dishes clatter in the sink. The normal rhythm of a normal evening, as if they haven't just shattered what remained of our family. But they're right about one thing. It's time for me to leave. Just not in the way they expect. My fingertips brush against the hidden groove in my closet's back panel. One gentle push and it slides away, revealing 6 years of truth stacked in neat manila folders. The overhead light catches on color-coded tabs. Mortgage payments in red, utilities in blue, groceries in green. Every receipt, every bank statement, every canceled check, preserved like artifacts from a lost civilization. The latest folder sits on top, still crisp. Inside, yesterday's bank statement shows my account balance dropping below $3,000 for the first time since college. My hand trembles as I pull out the mortgage receipt from 2 weeks ago. $1,100 transferred from my account to Wells Fargo, same as every month for 6 years. Below that, a printed email chain between Dad and Aunt Susan. Clara barely contributes. Lives here rent-free while your brother and I struggle to maintain the house. The timestamp shows last Tuesday, the same day I paid the property tax bill. Barely contributes. The words burn in my throat as I spread the papers across my bedroom floor. Bank statements fan out like fallen leaves, each one telling its own story. My savings account dropping from $45,000 to $2,800. Their accounts growing by almost the same amount. Every mortgage payment, every utility bill, every grocery receipt forming a paper trail of their betrayal. My phone buzzes. Another message from Mom about my teenage tantrum. I silence it without looking. The evidence wall demands my attention. 6 years of financial history organized with the precision Dad taught me as a child. Always keep your records straight, Clara. You never know when you'll need proof. He taught me too well. A post-it note marks the document that broke my heart last month. Dad's country club membership renewal. $5,000 while I ate ramen for lunch. The paper crinkles under my fingers as I add it to the wall. My laptop screen glows with pending transactions. Each website feels like a small victory. Click. Utility autopay canceled. Click. Netflix unlinked. Click. Car insurance policy split. The shared emergency fund, $13,200 of mostly my money freezes with one final click. My finger hovers over the confirm button. In my mind, I hear Dad's voice. Family takes care of family. But whose family was I taking care of? The one that remembered my birthday? Or the one that called me a freeloader on the same day? Click. The first text arrives within minutes. Mom, internet's not working. Fix it. Then Dad. Car insurance warning on my phone. What did you do? I let them pile up, focusing instead on the final printout in my hands. A bank statement from 2020, my first pandemic-era payment, back when I believed in family obligation. Back when I thought sacrifice meant something. A message breaks through the silence. Not from my parents, but Uncle Jerry. I know what you've been doing all these years. They're wrong. Call me if you need anything. My throat tightens. One ally in a family of accusers. One voice of truth among the lies. The sun sets outside my window as I finish organizing the wall. Each document tells part of the story. The mortgage payments that kept their house. The utilities that kept their lights on. The groceries that kept their fridge full. And beneath it all, the steady drain of my own future slipping away. Dad's footsteps creak on the stairs. Clara? The Visa card's declining at Kroger. I stay silent, adding the final piece to my wall. A receipt from the grocery store. One small vanilla cake. 30 unlit candles, a celebration that never happened. The doorknob rattles. I don't answer. Your mother needs her shows. What's wrong with the internet? What's wrong is 6 years of unspoken truth. What's wrong is $82,000 worth of mortgage payments they called bare minimum. What's wrong is watching my savings vanish while they joined golf clubs and timeshares. What's wrong is it took me 30 years to say no. My phone lights up with another message from Uncle Jerry. You don't owe them your whole life, kiddo. Below his text, notifications stack up like dominoes. Aunt Susan. How could you do this to your parents? Cousin Rachel. They gave you everything. Mom again. We raised you better than this. Each message confirms what the wall of evidence proves. They never saw me as family, just an ATM with a daughter's face. I reach for my purse, fingers brushing against the birthday candles still waiting to be lit. Something clicks inside me, solid and final as a vault door closing. The girl who nodded and paid and stayed quiet died yesterday at the dinner table. Today, I'm someone else. My fingers fly across the phone screen, typing a response to Uncle Jerry. Thank you for seeing the truth. Dad's voice rises from the hallway, sharp with the first edge of panic. Clara Elizabeth Monroe, open door right now. I look at my wall of proof. 6 years of receipts, 6 years of transfers, 6 years of watching my future shrink while theirs expanded. All of it meticulously documented, carefully preserved, waiting for exactly this moment. Clara, the old me would have opened the door, would have apologized, would have transferred just enough money to restore their comfortable lives. But the old me didn't survive my 30th birthday. I turn back to my laptop, fingers steady now as I type one final email. To myself, with copies of every statement attached. Subject line: the cost of family, 2020-2025. Send. Some daughters get cards on their birthdays. Some get calls or cakes or simple words of love. I got the truth. And the truth, as they say, sets you free. The next morning, the grocery store ceiling lights flicker as I slide my credit card into the reader. Behind me, Mom clutches her coupons, each one cut with surgical precision. The cashier scans the last can of green beans. Card declined, the cashier says. Mom's fingers tighten around the coupons until they crinkle. That's impossible. Clara always puts money in that account. Always. The word hangs between us like a closing door. Try this one instead. She fumbles in her purse for the emergency credit card. The one I've been paying the minimum balance on since 2020. The reader beeps again, declined. A line forms behind us. The ice cream in our cart begins to melt, vanilla running in slow rivulets down the carton. Mom's face flushes the same shade as her coral lipstick. I'll need to cancel this order, she whispers to the cashier. My phone buzzes in my pocket as we leave. I dropped her home and went to meet Erica. Dad's number flashes on the screen, his contact photo from last Christmas staring up at me. I let it ring. 3 more calls light up my screen before I reach Erica's apartment. Each one from a different family member. Aunt Susan, Cousin Rachel, Uncle Mike. The same people who smiled and nodded when Dad bragged about his financial wisdom at family gatherings. A text from Dad pops up. After all we've done for you? The words blur as tears finally break free. All they've done for me. Like charging me rent while I paid their mortgage. Like telling relatives I was irresponsible while I covered their car insurance. Like forgetting my birthday while I kept their lights on. I park in the visitor spot at Erica's complex, but can't make myself open the door. My phone lights up again. A voicemail from Dad. You ungrateful little, his voice thunders through the speaker. I'm telling everyone how you abandoned us. Your mother's crying. Is that what you wanted? To break your mother's heart? The timestamp shows 2:47 p.m. Right when his truck insurance card would have shown coverage terminated on his phone. Another call, this time from Mom's friend Barbara at church. Clara, honey, your mother told me what happened. How could you cut off their internet during her favorite show? She needs that connection. I silence the phone and rest my forehead against the steering wheel. The leather cover is cool against my skin, grounding me in this moment. In this choice. Erica's apartment sits on the second floor, tucked behind a massive oak tree. The steps creak as I climb, each one carrying me further from the life I've known. My overnight bag bumps against my leg with each step. Inside, the same cardigan Dad hated still smells like Mom's pot roast. The door opens before I knock. Erica stands there in her paint-stained overalls, graying hair escaping her bandana. One look at my face and she pulls me inside. I've watched them take from you for years, she says, leading me to her worn leather couch. It's about time. The walls of her apartment bloom with color paintings she's done over decades of friendship. Blues and greens and golds, not a single beige like Mom insisted on at home. A cat clock from 1,962 ticks above her television, its tail swinging in steady rhythm. I shouldn't have. The words catch in my throat. Maybe if I'd just. Stop. Erica grabs my shoulders. Her hands are warm, steady. Paint flecks dot her knuckles like tiny stars. You gave them 6 years. They gave you 30 minutes notice to leave. You don't owe them another thought. My phone buzzes again. Aunt Margaret this time. You're tearing this family apart, her text reads. Your father built that house. How dare you try to take it from him? A laugh bubbles up, sharp and bitter. Dad built that house? I've paid 70% of the mortgage since 2020. And now they know exactly what they lost. Erica disappears into her kitchen, returns with 2 mugs of tea. The ceramic is warm against my palms. Let them feel it. The tears come then. Not the quiet ones I've mastered over years of disappointment. These tear through me like a summer storm, leaving me gasping on her couch. Erica holds me through it, her silence more comforting than any words. When the storm passes, I find myself staring at her walls again, at the freedom in those colors, at the life she's built on her own terms. I can't go back, I whisper. Good. She squeezes my hand. That's the smartest thing you've said in 6 years. My phone lights up with another text. This one from the church secretary. Your father says you've abandoned them in their time of need. We're organizing meal deliveries. I set the phone face down on Erica's coffee table. Let them organize meals. Let them believe whatever story Dad spins. The truth has receipts, and I have copies of every single one. Through Erica's window, the oak tree's leaves dance in the afternoon light. Their shadows paint patterns on her carpet, proof that beauty exists beyond beige walls and obligation. Beyond guilt and manipulation dressed up as love. What happens now? I ask, more to myself than Erica. She points to a painting on her wall. Golden light breaks through storm clouds, illuminating a path through darkness. Now? You live. My phone buzzes one final time. A text from Dad. If you don't fix this by morning, they're coming back. For the first time in 6 years, the thought of never going back feels like freedom instead of failure. I silence the phone completely, fold the cardigan Dad hated, and set it aside. Tomorrow, they'll wake up to more cancellation notices. Tomorrow, Mom's church friends will deliver casseroles and listen to stories of my betrayal. Tomorrow, Dad will realize exactly how much of their lives I've been quietly maintaining. But tonight, in this room full of color and possibility, I let myself feel the strength in my breaking point, the power in finally saying enough. It's time to live. At Erica's apartment the next morning, the copier hums beneath my hands, steady and familiar. Each bank statement emerges crisp and clear, 6 years of financial history reproduced in black and white. No highlighting, no annotations, just numbers telling their own story. My fingers smooth each page into the manila envelope. Mortgage statements, utility bills, property tax payments. Transaction history is showing the slow drain of my accounts while my parents' savings grew. Raw data, impossible to dispute. An hour later, Pastor Williams's office door stands half open, morning light spilling onto the worn carpet. Inside, he sorts through his Sunday sermon notes, reading glasses perched on the end of his nose. The same glasses he wore when I was 10, watching our children's Christmas pageant from the front pew. Clara? His eyebrows lift as I step inside. What brings you by on a Tuesday? I place the envelope on his desk. The paper is smooth under my fingertips, unremarkable except for the weight of truth it carries. Some information I thought you should have. A small note rests on top. The truth, with receipts. He opens the envelope slowly, methodically, the way he opens his Bible before each sermon. The first page emerges a mortgage statement from 2020. His eyes widen behind those reading glasses. Good Lord. The words come out soft, almost a prayer. You've been paying 70%? I stand quietly as he pages through the documents. Let the numbers speak for themselves. Let them tell the story my parents have tried so hard to bury. Clara, I had no idea. He removes his glasses, polishing them with his handkerchief. A habit I've watched since childhood, whenever something troubles him deeply. Your filed to counsel such a different story. I know. The words come out steady, certain. No anger, no accusations, just truth. Pastor Williams's hands tremble slightly as he returns the papers to their envelope. I'll need time to process this. Take all the time you need. I turn toward the door, then pause. I'm not asking you to take sides. I just thought someone should know the whole story. The truth spreads through our small town like a stone dropped in still water. Ripples of revelation touching one person after another. Mrs. Henderson at the grocery store catches my eye over the produce display. I heard about the mortgage payments, dear. My Harold and I had no idea. Her weathered hand pats mine, rough from decades of gardening. You're a good daughter, maybe too good. At Sunday service, the usual crowd of sympathizers around my parents' pew thins noticeably. Heads turn when Douglas stands to make announcements, whispers following his words about family loyalty with new understanding. Even the parish council meeting minutes tell the story. My father's complaints about my abandonment meet silence instead of support. The same council members who once nodded along now study their coffee cups, the weight of receipts and bank statements heavy in their minds. The doorbell at Erica's apartment chimes on a Wednesday evening. Through the peephole, I see them, Douglas and Irene, standing awkwardly on the welcome mat. Irene clutches her purse like a shield. Douglas wears his Sunday suit, the one reserved for important business meetings and funeral homes. I'm not sure this is a good idea, Erica says from behind me. Want me to tell them you're not here? I shake my head. No, I can handle this. They've rehearsed their opening lines. I see it in the careful way Douglas straightens his tie, how Irene's fingers twist her wedding ring. The same preparations they made before asking the bank for loan extensions, before convincing relatives to invest in Douglas's failed business ventures. Clara, my father's voice carries that familiar tone of reasonable authority. We've come to talk things through, like family should. I leave the security chain latched, speaking through the narrow gap. I'm listening. This situation has gotten out of hand. He glances at the neighboring apartments, lowers his voice. These stories spreading around town, the damage to her reputation. You mean the truth spreading around town, I correct quietly. We're willing to forgive your emotional reaction. Douglas straightens, a businessman preparing his final offer. But we need you to release the emergency fund. Immediately. The old fear flutters in my chest, the urge to give in, to keep peace at any cost. But it fades quickly, replaced by a calm certainty. I've given enough. If you force our hand, Douglas's voice hardens, we'll have no choice but to tell everyone. Tell them what? The words come out gentle, almost curious. That I paid 70% of your mortgage? That I covered the property taxes while you joined the country club? That I drained my savings to keep you afloat while you called me a freeloader? Irene flinches. Douglas's face reddens. Everyone already knows. I meet their eyes through the gap. I didn't have to say a word, the numbers spoke for themselves. My phone buzzes later that night, their numbers flashing on the screen. Once, twice, 3 times. Each call easier to decline than the last. In Erica's spare room, I stretch out on the futon that's become my temporary bed. The weight of financial obligations no longer presses on my chest. No mortgage payments to calculate, no utility bills to juggle, no constant mental math to ensure their comfort. For the first time in 6 years, I breathe freely. The truth is out there, carved in the bedrock of bank statements and payment records. Not through drama or accusations, but through the quiet power of undeniable facts. My finger hovers over the phone as it lights up again, Douglas's number. I press decline and turn out the light. Some battles are won not with shouting, but with silence. Some victories come not from what you say, but from what you finally stop saying yes to. Tomorrow, they'll try again. But tonight, in this quiet room, I am finally free. Uncle Jerry's voice cuts through the murmur of family voices in Aunt Patricia's living room 3 days later. I've seen the bank statements. Leave her alone. My coffee cup freezes halfway to my lips. Across the antique coffee table, Douglas's face flushes crimson. The annual Monroe family gathering stretches into uncomfortable silence as 30 pairs of eyes dart between us. Now Jerry, Douglas starts, his hands spread wide in that familiar placating gesture. You don't understand the whole situation. 6 years of mortgage statements. Uncle Jerry pulls a manila folder from beside his armchair. Utility bills, property taxes, all with Clara's name on them. Papers rustle as he opens the folder. Want me to start reading the numbers? Aunt Patricia's crystal wind chimes tinkle softly through the window. A clock ticks somewhere in the silence. I set my coffee cup down with a quiet clink. This is a private family matter, Douglas says, his voice carrying that dangerous edge I remember from childhood arguments. We are family. Uncle Jerry's weathered hands smooth the papers. That's why I'm speaking up. Someone needs to tell the truth about what you've done to your daughter. Irene stands abruptly, her cardigan clutched tight around her shoulders. Douglas, we should go. But the damage is done. I watch realization dawn on my relatives' faces as they process Uncle Jerry's words. Cousin Sarah's mouth forms a small O of understanding. Great Aunt Martha shakes her head slowly, her arthritis-twisted fingers gripping her cane tighter. 70% of the mortgage, Uncle Jerry continues, ignoring Irene's attempt at escape. Every month for 6 years. while you told everyone she was financially irresponsible. Douglas grabs his car keys from the side table. The brass bowl they land and rattles against the wood. We're not discussing this here. They flee. The front door closes behind them with a decisive click. In their wake, the room fills with whispers and sideways glances. Uncle Jerry catches my eye and nods once. I return the gesture, gratitude tightening my throat. A month later, I park in front of my old house. The lawn needs mowing. Dead petunias droop in the window boxes Irene used to tend obsessively. The screens on the front windows hang slightly askew, and paint peels around the doorframe. Douglas opens the door before I knock. His polo shirt hangs loose around his shoulders. Clara. He steps back, a movement that might look like welcome to someone who didn't know better. Bills cover the kitchen table where we used to eat Tuesday pot roast. Late notices with red stamps peek out from beneath utility statements. Irene sits in her usual chair, a calculator and checkbook in front of her. We need to talk about the house payment, Douglas says. The authority in his voice sounds hollow now. We might lose the house. I pull out a chair, noting how Irene flinches at the scraping sound. You still have 30% of the mortgage to pay. My voice stays steady. Exactly your share. But that's not, Douglas stops, swallows. We're your parents. Yes. I place a thick folder on the table. And here's 6 years of proof that you took advantage of that fact. Irene's hand trembles as she reaches for the folder. Bank statements spill out, each one highlighted with precise yellow lines showing my withdrawals. Mortgage payments, insurance, utilities, property taxes, all carefully documented. Mrs. Henderson brought this up at Bridge Club last week. Irene's voice barely carries across the table. She asked if it was true that you'd been paying our bills all this time. The truth has a way of spreading. I smooth my skirt, a simple gray one I bought with my own money, for myself. We didn't see. Irene's eyes fill with tears. Real ones for the first time. We didn't see what you were doing for us. No. The word comes out gentle but firm. You didn't want to see. Douglas paces behind Irene's chair. The floorboards creak under his feet, a sound I use to tiptoe around. What do you want from us? I want you to acknowledge what you did. Publicly. To everyone you lied to about me. I meet his gaze. That's my condition for any future relationship. You can't just... I can. 2 simple words, but they carry the weight of 6 years of silence. Love shouldn't come with a payment plan, but respect must come with honesty. A car door slams outside. Through the window, I watch Mrs. Henderson walk past, her golden retriever trotting beside her. She glances at the house, at the peeling paint and dead flowers. Her eyes meet mine through the glass. Nods once, solemn and knowing. Take time to think about it. I stand, my chair scraping against linoleum that needs replacing. You know where to find me when you're ready to tell the truth. Irene's sob follows me to the door. I pause, my hand on the knob. I don't hate you. The words surprise me with their honesty. But I don't trust you. That's the difference you'll have to live with. Outside, summer sunshine warms my face. A breeze carries the scent of fresh-cut grass from other, better-maintained lawns. My sensible shoes tap against the cracked sidewalk as I walk to my car. Behind me, the house stands silent. My parents watch from the window. I feel their eyes on my back. But I don't turn around. Some moments don't need witnesses to be powerful. In my rearview mirror, the house grows smaller. 6 years of my life, measured in mortgage payments and silent sacrifices. But the road ahead stretches clear and open, leading somewhere new. Somewhere better. Somewhere mine. The key slides into the lock with a satisfying click a month later. My key. My lock. My $690 a month slice of freedom. The studio apartment smells of fresh paint and possibility, sunlight streaming through windows I can open or close without permission. I set down the last box from Erica's car and survey my domain. The furniture tells its own story. A threadbare armchair from the church thrift store. A kitchen table rescued from someone's curb. Mismatched plates that speak of beginnings rather than hand-me-downs. Each piece chosen by me. For me. The walls glow pale blue in the morning light. Not the respectable beige my mother insisted upon, not the buttercream yellow that suits a family home. Just blue. My blue. The color of summer skies and robin's eggs and everything that speaks of fresh starts. The birthday candle sits on my window ledge, still wrapped in its thin paper sleeve. 30 years old, never lit. I touch it gently, remembering the cake hidden behind the fruit bowl all those months ago. But the ache has mellowed, transformed into something wiser. The candle stays not as a monument to hurt, but as a reminder that some gifts we have to give ourselves. This corner needs something. Uncle Jerry's voice carries from the doorway. He holds up a bag from Home Goods, his smile warm beneath his silver hair. Thought you might like this. Erica peers around him, carrying a plant I'm pretty sure came from her own living room. We come bearing housewarming gifts. And takeout. Nobody should cook on moving day. The Chinese food containers crowd my small table, sweet and sour sauce mixing with stories and laughter. No tension thrums beneath the surface. No careful weighing of words. Just the simple pleasure of people who want nothing from me except my company. You seem lighter, Erica says, stealing my last egg roll. Like you've shed more than just extra payments. I feel lighter. The words come easily now. Turns out guilt weighs more than furniture. Uncle Jerry nods, understanding in his faded blue eyes. Your mother called again yesterday. Wanted to know if I'd talk to you about the emergency fund. My chopsticks pause halfway to my mouth. 6 months ago, that statement would have sent me spiraling into explanation and justification. Now I just shrug. Did you? Told her I wasn't her messenger service. He winks. And that she raised a daughter smart enough to know her own mind. The evening settles into comfortable silence. Through my window, I watch the sunset paint the sky the same shade as my walls. A text lights up my phone, Mom again. I let it sit unanswered. Not forever, but for now. On my terms. Tomorrow I'll open a savings account with my name alone on the signature card. The money that once vanished into my parents' endless needs will build my own future instead. Small deposits, safe harbors, seeds planted in soil that's finally mine to tend. The housewarming gifts wait to be unwrapped. Practical things from neighbors who've chosen sides without my asking. Barbara from 3 doors down brought dish towels and quiet approval. Even Pastor William stopped by with a coffee maker and conversation carefully steered away from my parents' empty pew. You know what this place needs? Erica roots through the home goods bag Uncle Jerry brought. A proper birthday celebration, better late than never. She pulls out a small silver house, dangling from a ribbon. Not a toy, not quite an ornament. A talisman, maybe. A symbol of foundations built on choice rather than obligation. For your wall, Uncle Jerry says gruffly. So you remember. Remember what? He doesn't say. That I'm stronger than I knew? That family can be chosen? That sometimes the bravest thing is simply opening your own door with your own key? I hang the silver house where the morning sun will catch it. Let it shine like a beacon, like a promise. Like the future stretching out before me, unmarked and mine to explore. The text from Mom still waits, glowing softly in the growing dark. I'll answer it tomorrow or maybe the next day, when I'm ready. When the words come from strength rather than habit. After all, I have time now. A whole new chapter, written in pale blue and possibility. And this time, I'm holding the pen.